Now in its 39th year, BFI Flare, the UK's largest queer film festival, showcases stories from around the world and closer to home.
He's kind of special.
The documentary will go down in history, follows Truck UK, a trans football team in its first few seasons.
Lucy is a powerhouse. She's so well known in the grassroots football world and has been an absolute trailblazer in terms of, you know, the trans community within football, and by creating Truck United, you know, she has created a space for people just to love the game. And, you know, as she says, it's all inclusive. You know, anyone of any ability, any background, any gender can come play.
Anyone want to go to football club? £5 a go, win £100, £4 discount.
As debate around trans participation in sports rages elsewhere, filmmakers wanted to focus on a positive story of the game.
It's got to a point where people can't have realistically kind of normal, sensible conversations. And so for us, it really felt important to bring, you know, the other side of the situation to it. You know, the fact that actually people do play sports, they do have teams, they have community, and it's lovely. And it's something that, you know, we should be celebrating as opposed to just shouting at.
1, 2, 3, try!
There's so much joy in the trans community day to day. You know, day to day there's the little things that make people happy that we see in the community, but we don't really see that elevated to kind of wider conversations very often. So it's really kind of why we felt it was important to bring that to the forefront in this film.
This is Callie and Bev.
I'm trying to perfect my craft. Well, if you ever need a taste tester, I'm happy to help.
In Anaya Sisco's feature film romantic drama Drip Like Coffee, two baristas fall in love at a Brooklyn cafe.
It's not easy pursuing your desires.
I decided to adapt my own story into this coffee love story, and have coffee kind of be a symbol of fluidity and what it is to shapeshift as these two baristas are navigating or in this transitional period in their lives. Often when we think about that coming of age story, it's centering on young people, and I love those films as well, but I really wanted to write a story that was about young Black women celebrating queer desire, but also navigating the complexities of what it is to follow those desires. And I really wanted to kind of honor the beauty of what it was and how difficult it was for me grappling with being attracted to a woman while being in a relationship with a man.
They say finding out what you don't like brings you closer to what you do.
I remember I had someone say, "This is not a fairy tale," and I was like, really? For me, it's an absolute fairy tale. Girl gets girl in the end.
I do like seeing you outside of work more.
You're in the business of storytelling, and this festival is about bringing these stories to the forefront. But in America right now, we also have a president that wants to kind of strip details of LGBTQ people from federal websites, for example. What is it like navigating these two worlds in America?
I mean, it's so important to tell these stories. The reason why I wrote this story was because there wasn't anything like it. And so the work continues, whether it is in this current moment or if this was 100 years ago or 50 years ago when there were other Black queer filmmakers who were looking for a way to tell their stories, to represent themselves, to write themselves into history. And I think this is a constant journey. And I hope that this work is deemed as an act of resistance. It's something that is radical, because I think love is absolutely the cure to many things.
I'm Your Venus revisits the 1980s New York ballroom scene in which queer, African American and Latino communities found a home. One of its breakout stars was Venus Extravaganza.
Some of them think that we are the most gorgeous, special things on earth.
30 years after she was murdered in a Manhattan hotel room, her two families, her ballroom house and her New Jersey brothers joined forces to reopen her case.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Yes, how are you?
Pleasure's mine. How are you?
It's a pleasure, likewise.
Seeking answers as well as celebrating her legacy.
I'm your Venus. I'm your fire.
You did?
Your desire.
The Pelagottis had their sister taken from them at such a early age, and so suddenly. These three guys, Italian-American family, were like blood, and family is like so important to them. It seemed like they regretted that they couldn't provide different types of support back in the day for Venus. But what we watch happen over the course of the film is these three brothers really come to terms with how much support and love Venus got from her ballroom family, from her chosen family.
What did those houses mean at the time?
The houses in the house ballroom community have always been very significant to one, cultivate and support people on the floor in terms of their talents, but also ultimately to provide safe havens and provide some type of social support system for people who were marginalized and maybe ostracized from their families and on the streets. Even today, the community still has those values. Who would know that all these years later that we will be doing this? Unfortunately, Venus was not able to even see her stardom, and so it feels even more significant that her family could find some type of connection to the community.
What is it like for this community in America right now?
Honestly, every day there's something completely new targeting the community, and so it's unfortunate and it's hurtful, but we are resilient people, and our intentions is to always survive, so we will prevail in the end.
Yes! Give me 10s across the board!
I think a lot of us are feeling really scared. What's happening now is new. It's different. It's tragic. It feels like it's a moment of crisis. The LGBT Stonewall Memorial is now called the LGB Memorial because the Trump administration has quite literally removed the T from all of their web pages, all of their signage.
Give me one.
Hopefully what our film does is give viewers chances to laugh and to cry and to be angry and to be frustrated and also feel a lot of joy, which is something that we don't feel enough in movies, especially about trans folks.
I said touch this skin. Touch all of this skin, honey. Touch this skin. Give it on you.